Isaiah 42 verse 14 describes God as being like a woman in labour. It talks about God groaning like a woman through childbirth. It's a beautiful image that Israel had for God, isn't it? That God is birthing the redemptive future of the nation of Israel. When you think about it, you think, well then, as provocative as that is, it also raises questions about, well, what's our role? We're used to having all sorts of metaphors for being missional, like we're ambassadors or we're part of an army or all those kinds of images that do find their way into Scripture. But if you think about God as birthing his reign inexorably, unstoppably around the world and throughout history, what's our job? It's not that crazy to think that a beautiful metaphor to describe God's people is that we are like midwives. I mean, we don't birth the kingdom. We don't create the church. We don't even extend the reign of God. This is God's business. God births his reign. God extends it. What's our job? When you think about it, we are like midwives. The midwife doesn't give birth. The midwife isn't pregnant. The midwife is invited to assist. The midwife is invited to attend, to listen, to contribute, to help. But ultimately, the birthing of the reign of God is, well, God's business. In a book that I've written with Christiana, we explore this notion of midwifery as a beautiful metaphor for the mission of God's people. We've looked at a number of practices that midwives regularly adopt that actually really apply really nicely for the work of God's missional people. Practices like holding the space, about shaping the environment, about listening and attending, about being very conscious of what God is doing, about not wanting to impose agendas on the process, but also being conscious of what God is doing and being flexible and fearless enough to step in and engage with God in that process. So these are very beautiful practices. They're used by midwives all the time. We want to introduce you to them as practices that we believe missional leaders can really find very useful in seeking to participate in the unfurling of God's reign in this world.